Hey guys, this is Comic Uno, and today I'm doing a review for Rose issue 1. And before I start talking about this issue, just want to give you guys a couple updates. Of course, I have Comic Uno episode 188, and that show will review all the comics I've read this week in one show. The exclusive comics are in description below, and the episode will be annotated on Friday, so be sure to check that out. But let's start talking about Rose issue 1. Start talking about the cover first. Really love this cover. This is done by the artist of the comic. I also wanted to get the David Finch cover, but my store didn't have it. So hopefully I will get the David Finch cover one of these days once I find it. So, but beautiful cover here. And let's move on to the interior artwork. Just gorgeous art. I love the bright colors because it is a fantasy book. So a lot of times I feel like fantasy books tend to go a little darker, especially depending on what type of magic you're using. But I just love the color palette here. Just a great color palette, and also just the smooth, solid pencils by Ig. Just love the pencils here, especially for facial expressions. So let's move on to the story though. So with this issue, we get to see a big setup, really. This is very much a setup issue to learn who the players are on the field. Who are these characters? So we learn a little bit about Rose's magic. We don't really see her use it very much here, but she definitely seems new to it. She seems new to magic, but she's important. She's an important key to saving, well, not saving her village, because her village has been destroyed, but to try to tackle the Queen, because the Queen does not want people to have magic. So Rose is definitely a character that's going to be a barrier for her. So I'm very interested in that. I thought they developed the Queen very well. I like that it's a female villain. I find that very interesting. So like I said, this issue is very much about world building, and that kind of takes me away from it as a first issue, I'll say, but I think it's necessary for you to have this world building to get more out of the characters for the future issues. So I do believe it's important, and also I think it depends on how much of a fantasy fan you are. I'm not a huge fantasy fan, so I don't love the exposition of building the world as much. But I think if you are a fantasy fan, you're gonna be used to that. You're used to having to build the world before really getting into the characters in their journey. So I understand that with the first issue, and I think it just depends how far of a fantasy fan you are. But I really do believe you're going to enjoy this issue for the characters as much as we get to see of them and their potential of as characters and as their journey continues. So Rose issue 1 for me gets 3.5 stars. I am very excited to pick up the next issue, again, learn more about the journey these characters are going to take, but I do believe this issue was very much about the world building. So hopefully you guys enjoyed. This is Comic Uno. Don't forget to follow me on Twitter. Don't forget to like my Facebook page. Also, description below, there are links for my comic book, Like Father, Like Daughter, and don't forget to like the Facebook page of Like Father, Like Daughter. And I'll see you guys later. Bye.